What's going down, baby? It's your boy, That Guy Mile High, tuning back in for another interview on HHTv. And today we got a special guest by the name of Adam Hall. Yeah. Welcome, Adam. How you doing today, man?
It's
For
good.
those who don't know, and the reason Adam's up here is because he is a head extractor for a dope company, as you kind of see in the back, Habana Extracts. But before we get into that, you have a very interesting story, sir. Like, one that's more interesting than most. When I dove into this whole idea of interviewing you, at first it was all about the concentrates. But when I started actually reading about you, when I asked you if I could Google you, the whole interview kind of dynamic changed from there, because I was like, oh shit, there's definitely way more to know about you than meets the eye. Like, definitely, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's kind of get to know about you, man. Where did you grow up?
I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. And how was that? You know what I'm saying?
So growing up in Tucson, it's a college town, real
Indeed.
military, you know. So, I mean, getting young, you can get into a lot of stuff in Tucson. You know?
I've never been, so I couldn't really
super
vouch.
fast pace, real close to Mexico. I mean, you could go party at 18, do some wild things. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Tucson is lit.
So what was it like being a kid growing up in Tucson, and to kind of even elaborate further, because like I know you grew up in a structured household, I would say, because your dad played college football, and it seemed from just what I read about you, you had a very structured kind of like situation, very close knit family, but you know, really structured.
Definitely. Yeah, my mom worked at IBM. My dad was with us all the time. Sports were everything, you know, was playing football, basketball, baseball, year round. I played every sport. It didn't matter what it was. I was blessed as a child to be around professional athletes. I spent most of my time with ballers, you know, like the Rockies were my friends. You know, I didn't think of them as anything but my friends. Like, I got a chance to hang out with Andreas Galarraga and Larry Walker. They would be
you dropping big names, sir.
Yeah. We would be at spring training, and they would just be practicing, and I'd be a guy out there shagging balls, and Dusty Baker would come like, "Hey, my son's here today. We're gonna do a contest."
That's dope.
They'd be hitting home runs over the fence all day.
Oh,
you know,
that's fire.
Catching balls from Barry Bonds when I was 5-6 years old.
Damn.
It's different. You know,
Yeah.
you get a different feel for it. So like, where I'm from, not many people make it out of there. They live there their whole life. You know, Tucson, it's really beautiful. It's a retirement place, but people get stuck there forever.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Were you an only child?
Nah, so I have an older sister and a younger sister that lived with me my whole time, and a half sister who's my oldest sister, and like she took care of us most of the time when we were younger. You know, so most of the time my parents were working, but they were very involved in our life. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay, for sure. So what kind actually, before I ask you when did football become a thing, what kind of kid were you? Were you a bad kid? Were you into shit? Like, I mean
I was always where my dad was. So like whatever my dad was up to.
Yeah, I'm about to say you didn't seem like there was any sort of like negative stuff about you. Like, it was all like I said, really structured, sports driven. Like, you know,
I spent a lot of time in church.
cut.
My dad was a preacher, you know.
Yeah,
so like I spent Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at church, Sunday at church.
Oh, yeah, so you had your time was taken.
Yeah. I mean, like,
yeah,
God looked after me
for sure,
for sure, because we spent a lot of time there. I had a lot of friends getting into trouble because they had this time.
Right.
I didn't really have that time.
Yeah, you didn't have the time. Take your dad, man. I know
No,
it's
you're
probably
good.
cool
No,
enough for you to do that. But as soon as you do get that dab out, I want to talk about this amazing, you know, career that you had in the football. Like, you definitely did a lot of things that, you know, young men would love to do and dream about doing. And I know briefly we talked about, you know, you like the highest level that you achieved. But before we get there, you know, I definitely want to talk about this journey, because it definitely started really early.
Oh, for sure.
And like the high caliber of a player you were was very evident early on, like from what I had read.
So I got a chance to travel and play with, I played for the Scorpions. My uncle coaches for them now. They travel. But when I was young, we got a chance to play against Snoop Dogg's teams. We went to California. We went to Florida. Dope. We won national championships. my coaches were all in the military, so everything was structured. We were the most disciplined, hardest working teams there were. So like,
yeah, it's definitely a football state down there.
You can't outwork me. I don't care what you do. So that's my mentality right now. Still making hash.
Yeah,
you can't outwork me. Like,
and for anybody who like thinks that that's like arrogance, go look at the resume. Like, it's fucking unreal. Like, it really is. So what? Like, how old were you when you actually got into football? Like, what was like the first time you suited up and went to practice?
I mean, my dad was coaching a semi-pro team, and like I was out there banging around on pads. I was 5.
Okay, early. 5. That's like how I was. I started when I was 4, but I never made it to where you did.
By the time I was 9, you know, I was playing with the big guys. I was 12, and my best friends were sophomores and juniors in high school.
Word.
I was a freshman, and I played varsity.
Yeah, I mean, but from reading though, you were a big kid.
I didn't really grow until between my 8th and 9th grade. You know, like when I got to middle school, when I got out of middle school, I took a trip to California.
Yeah,
I came back 6 inches.
I believe it. I mean, because literally the words that were used in some of the articles about you was a men amongst boys. These were high school articles. Like, this wasn't like the college shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? Anything in those like high caliber where everybody's fucking massive. Like, this was high school. Like, you in these days, especially in those competitive states, those kids are not small. Like, I remember playing, because I played on a competitive level, but never to the caliber of you. But definitely, like, when you start to get into those higher levels, the kids just get bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
so by the time that I graduated, I was 6'4",
220.
6'4", 220. By the end of my freshman year in college, I was 238, you know, and I was rocked up. Coach Ed got me good. Like, so before college, like, I'll just say this. A lot of the coaches saw my frame, and it was potential to them. I mean,
Facts.
they saw my film, and they're like, yo, this dude's a monster. Look at what he can do, but look at his frame. Look at what he's going to be. Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, Les Miles. They sat in my living room. You know, they ate my grandma's cooking. They begged for me to come to their school. You know, so like dope. When I see like like the movies nowadays, like I lived that. You know, I got told to bring an empty suitcase on a trip across the country, and I'm like, what about my clothes? And they're like, don't worry about your clothes. Anything you want. Don't worry about your food. Anything you want. You know, me and my dad got to take trips to USC and UCLA. Yeah,
you definitely. Hold on, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that for sure. Like, I was like I said, it shocked the shit out of me. Like, I definitely was hash driven, but this is definitely about a football star that turned into a hash maker for sure. So in high school, you had by far one of the most impressive high school like careers I think I have ever personally read about. Like,
broke every record.
Yeah, I mean, you were All-American in fucking everything. I mean, like, literally, like, it was like 15 fucking All-American things. Like, even down to the U.S. Army All-American. Like, you had everything. So how was it being such a star athlete in high school, man? Like, how did people treat you? Like, how was it? How was that feeling? You know what I'm saying? Knowing that you was the man, like, fucking superhero.
All right, so it was good. It was really good. There's no feeling quite like that. It doesn't prepare you for the world.
Facts.
The world is not like that, you know, and like it took a long time for me to humble myself and realize that this is not the way the world is going to be, because the red carpet was fucking rolled. I don't care where I was. It was rolled.
I believe it.
I was blessed, you know, like I didn't spend a lot of time in class because I had coaches there from every school in the country. They were there every single day begging, you know, what can I get you to do to go to Boston College? Nothing. I'm going to talk to you for this hour because I don't want to be in class right now. So I'm going to hear you out, dog. Whatever you got to say, I'm going to listen to you, you know? So my teachers, my counselors, my principal, no one could be mad. No one could be upset that I wasn't in class, you know? So that was the bad thing, is like,
nobody held you accountable the way they should have.
Yes, but I mean, college was an awakening, you know, when you have to go to every class and like you have your mandatory study hours, tutors. So like the people who are getting paid millions of dollars are relying on you doing your job.
Yeah, big facts. So yeah, before we even get into the college part though, how give us a list of all the different kinds of All-Americans that you were, man.
All right, so to start off,
look, when you got to think about it, that's too many.
The USA Parade All-American was like the funnest thing because like you grew up watching that parade that's the parade. You know, like to be in New York and walk down the streets and like to be celebrated as like you are one of the best ever. You know, Under Armour, they started their year, they started their All-American game. They're like, yo, we want you. And I'm like, this really prestigious game, the U.S. Army game. You know, think of all the Reggie Bushes, the Matt Leiners, all the people who went to this. I'm got to play here. This is, you know, fighting over you to come tell you to choose
That's
what
crazy.
school you want to be on. You know, like there was millions of people watching me as I picked up a hat and I was like, nah, I don't want this school. Maybe I want this school. And I played games with them. I didn't even choose. I was on national TV and I didn't even choose where I was going to go to school because to me, they didn't deserve that. Like they really didn't. Like, you know, like I was that big. I was like, you got me here on national TV at 9 a.m. Like, I'm going to play with you guys. They had never seen that before ever. No one had ever gone on there and said, USC, Alabama, threw them to the side. No one ever did that before, ever. You know, and I was just like, that's what I felt, how big I was. Like, in high school, it was different.
Yeah,
like,
I believe that. Like I said, reading the thing, I was like, man, I couldn't even imagine the feeling. Because I remember just knowing what it felt like to be on, like, a winning team. Like, that feels good. Like, it feels great to know that, like, you're part of, like, one of the reasons
I almost
why
brought some rings because I have handful state championship.
You should have. That would have been funny. You need to send us some pictures of that shit.
Like,
next time, bring them.
That's what it was. You know, like it's just a different experience. You know,
I believe
for
it.
a long time, I like really preached this on people. I wanted everyone to experience that until I realized how hard the world was once you experienced it.
Once you left. So let's start kind of getting into that, man. So you kind of started bringing it up as far as the college, you know, part of it. Like now you're a senior, you're a fucking superstar. You're doing your thing.
I was
on top of the world.
5 ESPNs by the time
on top
I
of the
was
world.
a senior. I mean, my rival high schools, they had my ESPN magazine on the wall in their weight room as motivation.
That's crazy. That's dope.
You know, so like it meant something. You know?
That's dope. So where did you end up ultimately choosing to go to school for college?
All right, so I wanted to go to Arizona because, I mean, I had never had so much fun anywhere in my life.
Okay.
Ever.
Question before I, keep your thought. Did your dad have anything to do with the Arizona thing? Because I read he played for them too.
No, so like I had a dream. I was like dreaming and I woke up and like it was at the U.S. Army game and I was supposed to choose where I was going to be and I didn't choose, but like I was asleep and I woke up and we were 4 to a room and all the people who I was staying with were all going to USC. And I thought that they really wanted me to go USC and I thought about it and I really did. But on my recruiting trip, I didn't feel like home.
It didn't feel right.
It wasn't right. It was amazing.
I'm sure.
It was amazing.
I've seen some of those facility pictures and the videos on some of those high caliber schools. The fucking facilities for the football players are fucking immaculate in some of these places.
The living quarters alone. Like you're staying at a 5-star hotel.
I know. I've seen some of the fucking
morning,
pictures and videos.
Morning, lunch, night, whatever you want. So it's great. But at the same time, it ain't real life.
Right. Unless you're dedicated to go all the way.
All the way through. But even at some point, it's still not going to be like that because in college, it's very catered. Like everything is catered to you. I mean, they let you pick your classes around your like workout schedule. Pretty much everything that you do is based at the school, so the school has control over it. They schedule when you eat breakfast, who you eat breakfast with, where you eat it, when you lift weights, when you do tutoring, what classes
That's
you
a real
take.
job.
It's more than a job. It's 4 jobs,
Yeah,
so like
I say that's like being in the army or something for real.
It is, but at the same time, the luxuries that you get behind that are second to none.
I have to say kudos to you for making it as far as you did, because I actually know some personal friends that were football players and even some basketball players that made it to a college level, and most of them either gave up or quit, or you know what I'm saying, and most of it wasn't because of the reasons that we're going to get into for why you ultimately stopped playing. But yeah, okay, so you end up at Arizona.
We were the first 2 years I was there.
Yeah, let's get into that first year, because you walk in and the caliber of player is different now.
Yeah, right? But the game didn't get faster for me. Everyone said that the game's gonna be so fast, it's gonna be hard to keep up. You don't know what you're gonna be doing. You know, I had some really great coaches. The reason why I went to Arizona was some of the best defensive mind coaches ever. You know, they weren't the most articulate. They couldn't really talk to you. Mike Stoops. His brother Bob, he's gotten a lot of the success at Oklahoma. People really know him as a household name, probably one of the top 5 coaches right now in college football. But Mark, you know, he bounced around a little bit. He was my defensive back coach. He's coached some of the greatest DBs right now there is. They've come up with some great schemes, and I really wanted to play for them because as a defensive player, you can control everything. On the offensive side of the ball, you can only control it if someone gives you the rock.
Gives you the ball. Yep. No, that's
real.
As
a defensive player, I can control every part of the game. And, like, if I don't want you throwing the ball, I can pick it. I can hit your receiver so hard that he doesn't want to go nowhere near me.
We're going to get into that shit there.
I have plays where I completely change people's game plan because they couldn't do what they do on everyone else because of one player. And, you know, that's what you could do on defense. You can't do that on offense. You can't.
So okay. And before we even get into that, because there's definitely a lot to talk about with your college 2 years that you actually got to be healthy playing. So that first year when you walk on, so as you just kind of explained, the game didn't speed up for you.
Nah,
the caliber of player probably upped, but since the game didn't speed up, you kind of felt at home now. Kids are just your size.
Yeah, exactly. They're my size.
Now they're just your size.
So
and you didn't get to walk on as a starter. As a rookie, you were on from what I read, you were part of like the specials team and like the kick return and kickoff and stuff like that.
My first 5 games, all special teams.
Yeah,
and it was rough because like I was being recruited as told like you're gonna be that dude, you're gonna be starting, you're gonna be number 1 on our depth chart. I was going to ask you about that.
That's why I was bringing that up.
Like, it's hard. But at the same time, you got to learn the playbook. You got to learn this. You got to learn that. So by game 5, I was implemented in nickel and dime. Okay. So I was the extra DB. But, I mean, in my first 5 games, I was collecting tackles. I was knocking people out just because it was the only time I was going to get on the field. I'm going to show people to watch out for 12. He's going to be the blip. I'm just going to run in and knock somebody out. You know, if your job was to block me that week, I felt bad. Because my only job this week was to make the person who's watching this film be like, watch out for that dude. So
that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. And from the stats too, like your first year and not being able to like start and have like as many ample opportunities as other players to show what you could do, your stats weren't bad.
No.
Like they definitely were there. Like, you know, for like someone who played as much as you did, like you still managed to be like a player.
Yeah, 8 to 10 tackles.
Yeah, like it was definitely, you were still tackling for losses in most cases. I think your average was like negative 3.5 or some shit.
As a safety.
Yeah.
I'm playing 10 yards behind
I told
the ball.
you. This shit's nuts. And then the sophomore year. So this is where shit gets interesting. Because now you've proven yourself.
I'm balling out. So I was a captain on the team. Look, we're doing a lot.
So let's bring it to the start of the sophomore year. When do you find out that you're about to be that guy now? You get to step back into the shoes that you're so familiar with.
So like NCAA game comes out before the season starts, and they ask your coaches. They basically have to get your stats. They got to go to your trainer and they got to go, yo, how strong is he? How fast is he?
Yeah.
And I like my stats came out and I had a star next to my name. I was balling. I was like, yo, we ain't even in training camp yet, and they know that I'm that dude. Like, they know I'm that guy.
That's crazy. Hold up. Hold the fucking door. Hold on. This motherfucker just say a football game that we all are used to playing to came out or is about to come out because of it. Man, this is some bullshit. Okay, finish.
So I found out.
I just had to recap.
So
okay.
They're recruiting players from junior colleges, and they're trying to, so there might be someone who comes in who might have a little bit more experience, and you might be bigger than you, faster than you, whatever it is. Yeah. But training camp starts and we're balling. Shit is going great. I can't express like how good our season was going, and then we had another person get hurt, and another person get hurt, another person get hurt.
But like, regardless of that, your sophomore year, the stats are fucking amazing.
I was balling.
We were balling 54 tackles in like 13 games, bruh. And like balling. 2 interceptions, fucking losses that were crazy.
We were top 10. We beat Iowa at home.
I think Oregon. We beat Oregon. You had 11 tackles alone.
I knocked out. I knocked out Michael James.
Lost tackles
he would
alone.
have won the Heisman his senior year. I promise you, he would have won the Heisman. He had the best stats. He was going in, and he didn't play the last 6 games of the season because I knocked him out. I hit him so hard. He was literally crying on national TV. He fumbled.
Look,
it's on YouTube.
Your sophomore year, you were compared to Adrian Wilson, who played for the Cardinals, who is known for the gray area hits. He's like a John Lynch.
He played to the whistle. There's no gray area.
No, fuck that. There's a gray area for sure. And bringing that up, there's actually a particular moment in your sophomore year that, hold up, I want to say I had his name written down somewhere, but there was his last name was Rogers.
Yeah. So
you hit this man so fucking hard that you tore his ACL. And the reason I bring this particular hit up is because there was a lot of controversy around whether it was a late hit or not. So what do you say it was?
I actually, it really sucks because I went through that same injury.
I know. We're going to get to that. Hold up.
I would never wish that on anybody. But
was it a late hit or not?
No. So
and why?
We were in a cover 3 and the corner blew coverage. Okay. So he bit on something when he had the deep third. I was the deep third safety, not in the middle, but on the other side of the field. So
you came.
I came running at the angle to try and catch him at the goal line. It was a 75-yard pass. At the 20-yard line, he stopped running. He thought it was a touchdown. He started, I full speed was still running as fast as I could because he didn't fucking score.
Because he didn't score.
I hit him at the 3-yard line and drug him into the end zone, in which he tore his ACL 2 yards into the end zone when I threw him on the ground. It was a touchdown. It wasn't a dirty hit.
Okay. Fair enough. I just wanted to ask because that was one thing. It was in a few different articles that it kept coming up.
I got death threats.
And there was a lot of there was controversy. There was a lot behind that because Rogers, like yourself,
he was a perspective athlete.
Yeah, I looked him up. He was definitely had crazy stats too.
His brother ended up playing in the league for 8 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say arguably that hit is what ended his career.
It did, and it really sucks. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, and I've spoken to him. It sucks. It's part of the game. I know that if he could go back, he would run full speed like he did in every drill that his coaches ever told him to finish through the line. And that's part of...
Hey, it's part of football. No, for sure. Fair enough.
Part of it. So
fair enough. I just wanted to ask because I had kept seeing it. I was like, man... I got this. We have to talk about this because there's too much about it. So
I always got the blame for this happening to this guy, but I always blame the corner. I have a corner, Mike Turner. He blew the coverage.
I mean, he
had blew the coverage. That was your man. If you were on him, they don't throw this. He doesn't catch this pass. It doesn't happen. But I'm the person who plays to the end and tries to tackle him, and I'll take that. That's my loss to take.
Fair enough, yeah. Because that was one thing that, aside from that controversy, like I said, you had comparisons to some other gray area hitters.
Oh, definitely.
Some hard hitters, for sure. To the point that you had reporters that were at games that said that the sounds that were coming off of some of the hits were so violent that it was terrifying, knocking kids out, there was a lot more often that you were knocking people out, and
there's a reason behind that though. I'm not gonna lie,
I believe it. I mean, you're taught to hit. I remember that too.
I was taught that if you're tired and you want a timeout, make one.
Hey, that's a mother. Hey, kids. That was game right there. You know what I'm saying? Make shit happen.
So like
that, I believe it.
You
but
know,
but yeah, like I said, I had to bring that up because that was one of the consistents. Was like everyone said the way that you were hitting people was unreal. And like I said, the comparisons were to like some of these really hard, heavy hitting, gray area hitters. So I was like, okay, we have to ask about this particular one and see how he feels about it. So, you know, enough of that. So now let's move on to, you know, the end of, no, you're good. The end of this the end of this sophomore season. You're coming off of a beautiful season, aside from the fact that the team has, you know, its problems.
We got
you
a
as
bunch
a player,
of people got hurt.
Look,
that was just our bad, like,
it's all
we
right.
were at a
It's all
spot.
right.
We were
You
at
as a player
spot.
have great stats off that year. And that was your last final year of being healthy.
Yeah, I actually got a lot of people who told me that I should leave and I should be done and just go on and try and continue playing. But I wanted to graduate. I wanted a degree because like football wasn't forever.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So that's why I went back.
Okay. Look, so let's get into that. So look, so we get into this sophomore year, and at this point, you could take your associate's degree. You can go on and go to the NFL, get drafted. You have the stats to get drafted. You know, in my opinion,
my body was in great form.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the time, I want to say you were in that like 220 something range. You know, you're looking great. You want to graduate and do more with your degree, which you end up getting a bachelor's degree. Which did you end up doing that in 3 years instead of 4?
So in 3.5 I was done, but I then got a dual major, so
Okay.
I could do more classes.
Word.
I was taking more classes because it was free.
It was
school.
free. I was about to say you taking
Free
advantage
school.
of that shit. Hey kids, athletes,
If you
my
take
athletes,
advantage of that.
my athletes. Y'all need to think.
If you're gonna put your
think about
body
that.
through it, you take advantage of that.
So, before we get into that, you're full time athlete, full time student, doing your thing. Why aren't you satisfied, one, with the associate's degree, and then 2, what ends up happening at spring training of your junior year?
So we're in spring camp, and I realized something was not right. I went to a bunch of doctors, and I was like, "Hey, man, there's something wrong." And they're like, "Nah, ain't nothing wrong with you at all." So I got my own doctors, and I went to the doctor who did Derrick Rose's knee, the guy who did Amari Stoudemire's knee. And they said, "Yo, man, whoever did this surgery, they put the parts of a Volkswagen in a Porsche." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They said both of those cars are made at the same factory, but these parts aren't. These parts ain't for you. So they open me up. They take out some screws. They realize that the cavities weren't right. They redo it. So now I have them take my patellar tendon from my left leg and put it into my right leg. At this point, people realize that I'm not going to be playing. So the school puts out a press release saying that I got hurt. I had never really gotten hurt again, but it was a botched surgery, so we needed to fix it.
Okay, so hold up. So when did the first surgery actually happen? Because I thought from what I have read, so all these articles are the ones that I have read about. These these botched surgeries.
The sophomore year,
you got hurt.
At the end of the sophomore year, I had broke my foot, and we started doing MRIs and just looking at my body and stuff. And
so you did a preemptive surgery.
So we did it because it was messed up.
Okay. So that's why there was no real records. No,
I was playing on something that was not right, and once we felt that it wasn't right, we fixed it.
Okay.
You know, there wasn't
that
like a
clarifies some shit because I was curious.
1 second. You know, like we were in spring camp, and I stepped on someone's foot, and I was just like, "Yo, there's something wrong." I took my helmet off. My dad was at practice, and I just sat there, and they're like, "Get up, come on, let's go." And I was like, "Nah." I bring the doctors over here. And we just started looking at my body. They did the MRIs, and they're like, "Yeah, this is not right."
Dang, okay.
So we did the first surgery, and I came back in 5.5 weeks. I played my whole sophomore year.
Yeah,
so
okay.
like,
I was about to say, you had a great.
I had a great
no one
year
knew.
after.
I was wondering, hold up.
So I had a great year. Nothing was wrong. But they were getting ready to regime switch. We got a new athletic director. They wanted to get rid of our head coach. So
yeah, okay.
New head coach.
Yep, I was gonna say.
And then I'm having these surgeries, and my doctors are saying that the university is at fault for, you know, what they put into my body. They said this wasn't right. Your guys' doctors, this wasn't cool. So my doctors do the surgeries, and now we have this new coach, and this new coach is mad because they're like, you're not going to play? Hold on. Like, you're supposed to play. Like, you're supposed to be our starting safety this next year. And I'm like, nah, my doctors told me that I got 6 to 8 months. Like, so they took everything. They tried to take my scholarship. They took everything that was in my lockers. The equipment team was selling my stuff on eBay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Okay, and
like,
that answers the next question I was gonna ask. Continue, but like I was gonna ask how people started treating you when they figured this out.
Well, we got this new coach, and like I didn't want to play for this guy. He recruited me in high school. I didn't want to play for him when I was coming out of high school. So like when you came to this new school that I was at, I didn't want to play for you, and I was hurt. So it's not like I could really do anything anyway, you know. So I did have offers to go to other schools. You know, the Stoops offered me opportunities to go both to Oklahoma, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't transfer. Not enough of my school was gonna like. So it was just bad.
So what's happened with this one game that you played your junior year?
So
because like the stats in the game weren't bad.
The reason why I played was because that was so that they didn't. All right, so
I was gonna say, were you trying to save the coach's job?
I was trying to save his job.
Okay, because there was speculation.
He's my dog. Like I should not have played. If we would have won the game, they couldn't have fired him. They couldn't have fired him. Like there was no way that they could fire him if we win the game. So I shouldn't have played in the game. One, because everyone on that Oregon State team wanted me dead.
Yeah, but you fucking hit that whole game. I think you actually had your most hits in that game.
I had a great game. I mean, like, I had 9 days to prepare for it after having surgery to take stuff out of my body. But I had to play.
That's crazy.
You know, so, like, I was 5 months and 4 days out of a real surgery and 3 weeks out of having the hardware removed. I played 1 day with pads and a helmet on.
Damn, that's crazy. That's why I
had
nuts.
to play though, because if we would have won, they couldn't have fired him. And then, you know, it sucks because my whole life changed at that point, because once they did fire him, the school said that I was hurt so that they could redshirt me and get an extra year. So at that point, they're like, yo, you got hurt in the game. You can't play, you know, so...
Right.
So then I'm like, I got hurt. Fuck it, I got hurt, dog. Let's see the doctor. I'm going to go see a real doctor. And I went and saw some doctors, and they were like, hey, yo, this wasn't right. They had removed this stuff, and they did this, but, like, what they did was not right.
Damn.
So
you had to get a bunch of shit fixed again.
So now I'm back in the operating room.
Damn.
And at that point, you know, like, I'm blaming the school for fucking my body up. And they're now trying to get me back. They're like, hey, yo, we got to get you back. We need to get you back because we got this new coach and you need to get healthy. So, like, you need to get in here. And, like, I had dropped from 238 to, like, 165 pounds. So, like, I was on opiate. I was on pain pills for fucking months and months and months and months. I was on pain pills for months because I at one point I couldn't walk, you know.
You just needed it for the pain and shit.
You know, so, like, and, like, then I couldn't smoke weed because they were drug testing me like fucking crazy. Like literally 10 to 15 times in a month.
Jesus. It's like I'm being on probation and shit. God
damn. It was worse than probation. But like, so like I can't even express like how fucked up it was. But
I believe it. And you could definitely tell from like the statements and stuff that you and even like your father have made and stuff, just, you know, like you could tell that you guys weren't trying to divulge any information. You were just like, you know what, we're just abiding our time. And it seemed a lot like, you know, you could kind of tell that you were just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this situation. I'm going to get my education. And
so that's what I did. I just started to go to school. I mean, like, I wasn't not trying to practice, but like at the same time, they took everything from me. Literally.
Yeah, I about to say, they said you hadn't been to practice or done any activities for like months. And
well, my doctors
like
told me that I shouldn't, and I couldn't because like that wasn't what was right for my body, because what they did was not right, you know, like, and I had it written. They had spoken to, you know, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted, what could you do for me right now?
Yeah. And
like, I couldn't do anything for them. And like mentally, it's just like a whole nother place, because
you could tell just even the way that you're talking about it now. So like, okay, let's swing the direction out of this and get into you finishing up college, because that's where it kind of like, I feel like gets interesting again, and you kind of start to figure shit out. Cannabis is a part of your life at this point. I know when we were talking, you know, in the high school times and early years, you definitely weren't. You were straight edge. You know, college is kind of where you got introduced into it.
I definitely got introduced to it in college, but like I said, I was getting drug tested 10, 15 times
for sure.
a month. So like,
at this point, you know, now that you've walked away from the team, you've already finished up school, and you know you're pretty much done, because like your senior year, you were still eligible to play. So you could have technically transferred. You could have went somewhere else and did your thing or whatever. But you just chose to get your bachelor's degree in what is it? I know it's some sort of science. What is it again?
It's in science.
Okay, word. I was like, it might be something technical. But he gets his bachelor's in science. And from there, you end up getting out of school. And do you immediately kind of get into the processing and like growing of cannabis? Like, how do you get introduced into that world?
Oh, definitely. So it was a little bit before I graduated.
Okay.
I got really into it. We started getting a bunch of genetics, you know, trying to grow some stuff and just see the difference in some of the cannabis. So one of my friends, his mom had a house, and we just blasted it out, all the rooms. And
the way that we all do when we first start.
So we went from there to my homie. He got some stuff legal, and like Arizona, like you could be like a caregiver and you could have certain plant counts. So at that point, just like taking care of plants, and then like I just saw all the waste. I was like, there's all this shit that we just throw away. Like, let's do something with this. So we were blasting glass tubes in the backyard.
Back in the day when you could do that.
And years.
Kids don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Kids, it's illegal. You blow yourself up if you don't know what you're doing. So please don't do that shit anymore. But continue.
Yeah, like 15 years ago, whatever that is.
Yeah. Now just don't do it. You know
so I soon after that, we got into rosin. I mean, like, I've been pressing rosin since 2010, 11. You know, like, I probably ran.
Oh, so when you were still kind of finishing up high school or college at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, we was getting it. Like, I ran into some people who really wanted to learn some stuff, and
you having a science degree probably helped a shit ton, huh?
I had a love for cannabis because it saved my life. It changed everything. Like, for someone to be told that opiates are what you have to take because that's what they're giving you, and like, there was a period where I bought into everything that they were selling me, and like, I really tried. Mentally, it put me in a dark place.
I bet.
I was in a very dark place because people didn't treat me like the way they used to treat me, and my body wasn't where I wanted it to be. But I also was hurting, so they were just giving me this shit, and it just numb you and make you feel kind of crazy, you know, and like
it made you forget, not care, huh? I believe it. Hey, man, that's that shit.
Yeah.
That's that shit. I mean, anybody who knows, like, if you've ever had a pain pill, oh shit, technical difficulties. Spark. Technical difficulties, goddamn mics. But anyways, anybody who's actually had, you know, a pain pill prescribed to them or been to the hospital for any reason, I mean, you know, you've had an opiate at least one time, one of those experiences. And it's probably not the most pleasant experience that you could tap into from a pain medication standpoint, because it usually does make you feel fucking weird, you know?
It's weird.
Like weird. And unless you're like in a situation like you were, where at the time you didn't believe in cannabis and the use of it, and was, you know, believing the propaganda from both ends, from, you know, both the cannabis is bad and gateway, and then the, opiates is the way to fix it.
And used cannabis, and I gained weight.
Yeah, see,
I changed my life. It literally made me a totally different person. Like, it gave me the motivation to get up and try and go work out and try and go play ball again. But cannabis brought me to a new place in life.
That's dope.
Like a totally new place. And I didn't want to leave this place in life to continue my old life. So
yeah, that's dope.
I had to
chose, make a decision.
And I was I was still able to play ball, and I was able to go make some money off my body and do this and that. But at the same time, I wanted cannabis in my life because I needed it, because I saw the difference in when I didn't have it and when the people around me had it and didn't have it. Like, because I saw it. Like, I was around 125 people who were putting their body through everything to succeed, and all they were offered was this. And when we had a different option, I seen what it did. I seen the differences. I know,
Yeah, that's dope. And that's cool that, a lot of the big organizations are starting to recognize that, UFC being one of them, the NBA, baseball, right? Like, so there's definitely a lot of, hopefully football is soon to follow. You know what I'm saying?
It's a matter of time. It's just, you shouldn't have to live a lower quality of life.
Yeah, I know for sure. And especially when you're on your time, like, that's the reality. Like, there's not one time that I would feel like cannabis like enhanced. It helps, but I don't think there's not a time that I felt like it enhanced somebody's ability to be an athlete. Like, you're either an athlete or you're not.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
As far as that is concerned, I mean, there is like science behind how your blood flows and the oxygen. Like, there are some benefits to having cannabis and the cannabinoids in your body. And the receptors.
But that's different. That's no different than them using like steroids and stuff, which is actually like an enhancer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
it's not a performance enhancing drug.
That's what I'm getting at. So at any point that I feel like when you're on your time as an athlete, if that's how you choose to recover or, indulge in your time, you should be able to. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Most like one, it's better for those teams anyway. Like, if you think about it, what athlete after smoking some nice weed or whatever wants to go out and party and go to the strip club and like they want to sit there and play the fucking Xbox and you know what I'm saying, watch movies and like
it's different.
It's a way different vibe, right?
You have a drink,
got way less violence.
Go out there and do stuff,
dog.
I definitely understand that. So, I definitely have seen that.
Yeah, and I think that should be something that should be taken into account. Like, especially when you have assets that are worth potentially millions of dollars. I would much rather than be smoking on some weed at night, going to sleep on time. Then, like, however they're doing it.
You could eat edibles.
Bruh, I don't care how you do it. I'd rather you get high and go to sleep and be ready to work the next day than you be hungover, fucking feeling like shit and, potentially putting yourself at risk and the organization. You know what I'm saying? And the potential millions of dollars that we both are trying to make. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely. I just think that that's something that should be taken into consideration. But anyway, so yeah, okay. So you get out of college, you're already into cannabis as far as like, doing your little underground thing. You know what I'm saying? It was
legal though. It was legal.
Yeah, well, caregiver shit, but still, there was a lot of gray area at that time with the caregiver shit. So a lot of gray. You seem to live in the gray areas.
I was hitting in the gray.
You seem to live in those gray areas. But so did you ever get into football again after you left college? Like, did you end up trying to walk onto an NFL team or doing any of that?
So I played around with some homies when they were on some teams, tried to come and see like what their practice squad would be like. And like, honestly, I wasn't going to get paid anything nowhere near what my body was worth. So it was fun, but like it was more so to just like go out and see a couple of homies. But yeah, I definitely had a lot of people who wanted me to. The money wasn't worth it for what I felt my body. Like,
for the work.
Well, because I had to leave. Like, I would have to go 40 days, 50 days without smoking and then like go and try and do something. And like, I personally wanted to have cannabis in my life.
Yeah, I feel he's like back to that. Like, no, cannabis wasn't going anywhere, bro.
I couldn't. I couldn't go and do those things. I was in great shape, and people were like, "Yeah, I mean, it's good. Let's do something." But I'm like,
"All right,
I'm cool."
Fair enough. Okay, honestly, I just had to ask, because that was one thing I noticed. There was nothing else about football after that?
Because I
was just very curious.
Not want that to be what my life was about.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely made that happen, because literally after you left college, there's nothing else about you, sir, until this Habana stuff pops up. Like, literally, I was just like, man, like, this motherfucker like literally fell off the map, became the mystery man of Arizona. Like, like literally.
I had so many people who tried to get this story. I never talked about this stuff ever. I mean, like, every newspaper, like, I have so many people who have begged for me, who like wrote about me for years and years, who wanted to know what happened and why. And it just, for me, it was like really.
Yeah, you just didn't care enough.
Not at that point, because I was speaking negatively about the place that I loved the most. I loved my school and I loved what they did, but I couldn't tell people they messed me up. And I seen them do it to many other people. And the people who did it still have jobs at this place.
That's crazy.
They've gone through coaches and coaches and coaches and coaches, but they still use the same doctors.
Damn.
How can you go through numerous different things, but you know, the reason why you don't succeed is because of these problems.
Facts. Hey, man, when you're not willing to change everything up, you know, some things will stay consistent. That's the reality. So let's get into like deeper into this concentrate world, because that's where you seem to like thrive the most. Like, I know you grew and you had, you know, a lot of different aspects as a part of the industry as far as that, but concentrates is where it seemed to really thrive for you. And I know Habana wasn't the start. And what would you like to elaborate on as far as like where that went to? Because I know there's some touchy feelings about certain, you know, situations, which I could definitely understand, because there's some companies that I don't want to talk about either. So
hash has always been something big. Like I said, we started pressing rosin early on. I broke a lot of hair straighteners. We took some trips out to California, and we helped develop some presses. And from that point, my resume was pretty built, and I came out here. I worked at 710. I developed, you know, the small things about the business that you need to like thrive. You know, the packaging, the attention to detail. And 2 years later, we started Habana, and yeah, it's been like a uphill battle. I mean, there's so many different companies out here,
and you guys were definitely late into the game. Like,
oh yeah,
like the whole situation around, you know, Habana extracts, Crystal Leaves, Cuban Crew, like your whole, you know, the little trifecta that you guys have kind of built was late to the game. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts to it. You know, like y'all have only, you're in your third year now. So like how explain how hard it is to be not only a concentrate company, but one that wants to thrive and be considered a luxury brand. Like, I mean, you see this rosin, shit's beautiful.
So, I mean, it was really hard at the beginning because there's so many stores and people have so many options. You know, there's no reason to drive way out of their way to come to Commerce City. They're like, why? You know, but we've gotten a chance to get our product out there at Wolfpack and Eclipse and Verts and Diego Pellicer, all the big spots. So people,
shout out to all of them.
Yeah, they recognize the brand, you know, and their customers, they want to come see our spot because like we have everything. We have everything that our product has to offer. You know, we're going to have collabs, you know, with High Grade and Dialed In, you know, to try and get every possible way that people consume cannabis out of our product, you know, so because we believe we make a premium product, we don't skip out on any steps, you know.
I've seen it.
I see some companies that will tell you they don't skip any steps, or we do it correct, or we flush, or we pull at this day, or what, but like we actually do. Like,
yeah. Oh, I've seen. That's why I actually, you know, fucking with y'all like as tough as I do and stayed around. Because I remember the first time that I ever shopped at Crystal Leaves and seen the flower that was being produced by the Cuban Crew, and even the concentrates. Like, I'm not a huge concentrate fan, but like as I've gotten to know you and see the products being produced and, you know, all the different aspects of it, like, you know, I've built a whole new appreciation, even more than I had before, you know, just having a passion for, you know, this whole industry myself. but y'all definitely don't skip steps. Like there's definitely every step is followed. There's definitely a lot of care that's taken, and a lot of knowledge that is put behind what you guys do. Like there's definitely no
our SOPs were created over years, 10 years of doing this, 15 years of doing this to make
facts
the best stuff possible, and like their growing SOPs go back as far as 30, 40 years. I don't know how far back.
That one's going to be dope too, because Alex is going to come up too. He agreed to do an interview too. And that's a crazy story, because like he's talking like Alex's grandfather grew tobacco down in Cuba. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the actual like Cuban cigars and you know what I'm saying? Like the good shit. So yeah.
So that's on a total different tip, like this isn't something new to us. We're just new to you guys.
So yeah, no, let's get into that, man, because the reality is you guys do produce a large variety of products. Like as people can kind of see here, we got the packaging for the shatters and stuff right here. And he's brought a whole wide range of rosins, you know what I'm saying? I mean, flavor after flavor after flavor after flavor. I mean, there's at least 8 or 9 different things on the table open currently. There's a few other ones that aren't open. I'm sure there's more stashed away somewhere. So what is it about you guys that like allows you to produce so many different things across the board?
We're pheno hunting, man. We're pheno hunting everything. Everything has numerous different flavors, like say, I'll just like put it in layman's term. You have a kid, you have another kid, you have another kid, all same mom, same dad. They will all look different. A little different.
Yep.
They will all grow a little different. They will all eat a little different. They can all be successful. Yes. They could all grow great. Yeah. But one of them is going to be a little bit better as far as what other people are looking for in a child or in a kid.
That's such a crazy analogy, but it's
just easy for people to look at it like that.
No, because, for sure. And basically, and I think what he's getting at with that is like when you do it that way, it allows you to see what produces differently in all the different types of products that they do, from the live resins to shatters to rosins to even the beach sands and stuff that he does with the ice water hash. Yeah. So and that's super important because you get a different result flavor wise, consistency wise. Exactly. Like they're not every strain is stable as the next one.
And so it might be stable when you make it like this, but when you make it like that, it's not. So like that's why I just use that analogy, because it's just easy to correlate, Yeah. Every strain smells, looks, and tastes different depending on the phenotype. So I have layer cake and then I have layer cake 9. This might yield at 5. This might yield at 4. This might smell gassy and piney. This might smell lemony and skunky. But those are actual things that we can send into the lab, and they'll tell us how much terpenes are in this one and what terpenes are in this one, what THC is in this. Question now. That.
So if you guys are already getting the terpene testing done, why don't you put it on the packaging? Because I'm a real big believer in understanding and pushing the terpene narrative. Because I feel it's way more important than THC levels.
It's not that we don't. It's just hard to do it for everything. So as we phenotest, we do a couple, but the next batch is going to be different from the last batch, and we don't do it on every batch because it's expensive.
Yeah, so true that.
We do the necessary testing that we have to do for everything, and then the ones that we need to figure out which one are this one or this one, we got to do it once or twice, and that's just. We can't put the testing for something 6 times ago until we can be process validated on that specific thing, So if you process validate on terpenes, you could probably ask Alex all of this stuff. And
I will, because honestly, I think it's good for both sides. I think because I'm a big believer in the narrative of pushing terpenes, because I think too many people get hung up on the numbers of THC and all that bullshit, and it doesn't correlate to if you're going to like or enjoy a strain.
Definitely.
Like at all. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think terpenes would help guide people to better and more knowledgeable based choices and experiences.
Definitely.
You know
So you'll have a more informative buy before if you can't smell it, if you knew what it might be.
Right.
And it's just hard, like I said, and it's expensive. But at some point, we're going to get to the point where we're growing just one or two phenotypes, and then we'll be able to validate what this terpenes are,
sure.
and then we can do it. But right now, we're growing like 48 strains.
I know.
And 3 or 4 phenos.
But to your guys' defense, there are, I would say, maybe like 10 or so of those strains that are consistent at this point. There's definitely some heavy hitter consistent
new
ones.
In,
true.
Those old ones
that is true.
We don't do for so long that we can't say that this is the same as the testing that we already did.
That. Fair enough.
It's hard to stay up to date because let me say, you have to harvest the strain 3 times within 5 days of each other.
Yep.
You know how hard it is to
do that?
To harvest raspberry beret 3 times within 5 days of each other? When we have Zoinks 4 and Zoinks 5 and all these other shit, so like
they got phenos like for days.
So like it's really hard for you to
to do that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
in a year from now, we'll definitely be able to do it.
Right. Well, I look forward to that because terpenes, everyone should know about them. But let's get back into these processes, man. Which one is your favorite product to produce? Like I know which one, but explain to us why.
Ice water hash. So I call it beet sand. Everyone can make rosin, but like not everyone can make beet sand, and that just has to do with how good the flower is, when it was harvested, and genetics. If it melts, if you're knocking heads off, if you're knocking stalks off, like that's really what it means. Like to make good ice water hash, you have to have good flour. So if you don't have good flour, it's kind of hard to do.
Can't make shit out or gold out of shit, people. So that's what he's saying.
I'm just saying, like,
even when you think you got some good shit, if you don't know if the flour was good, that shit is still trash, even if it looks alright.
So, I love making BHO because that's where it started. But at the same time, you have to have an appreciation for hash to understand how good this stuff is. Because like, if this is the only thing you've ever smoked, it's hard. It's really hard. You'll never be able to go back. But like, it's hard for you to understand that this is the most pure essence of the plant.
It's solventless too. There's no extra additives to it, no bullshit. So
ice, water, heat, and pressure. I mean, like,
we're gonna have to get you. You know what? We're gonna have to one of these days, Eric. We're going to have to get you to bring your camera and do some video stuff and get some cool shots. And then
some presses.
Yeah. And then have you come back and like give a whole full education. Oh shit. Goddamn mics. But give you a whole education or them a whole education on how to do it. And then maybe even do some of the old school tech and shit with this hair straightener for those beginners. And then I know you have your own personal press.
I do.
Maybe that's how we just do it instead of going over there. Maybe we just bring you back and just do a whole full fucking setup here.
Yeah, we could probably do something like that.
That'd be fire. And just do like a full lesson and have you fucking press some shit. That'd be lit as fuck. I'm with it. So cool, man. What do you want the people to know about Habana, man? Like anything new coming up? Because there's definitely going to be more of you coming on and you can show off some of the flour and the processes a little bit. And
we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. I think there's like 10 strains that I'm super happy with that are all frozen that we're making live resin and live rosin with. Dosido and GMOs and
fire shit.
The fires.
That fire shit.
The ice cream mans and ice cream cakes, wedding cakes.
All that shit.
Yeah, all of it. All of the fire. I'm just excited. We got the cold room going. You spent some time in there.
It's fucking cold. It really is.
I mean, this year has been good. It's, been a turnover.
For sure.
Last year was really hard. COVID really sucked.
Yeah, and you guys being in only the second year during COVID, like that must have been tough. But moving forward into 2021, what kind of like personal goals? Because this is essentially your baby. You've been here since the start. You talked a little bit about helping get this to where it is now. So what do you expect from yourself and Habana from this year?
Oh, I'm trying to get every bud tender. This is what I want them smoking on. I want, because as soon as I can get everyone in the city on this, then like they'll understand what we're doing, and like
Facts.
It's easy to sell something that you've tried and that you love yourself.
That is 100% real.
I just want to be able to be the household like, yo, have you tried this? Because we're really doing something special. And like every day, that's what I'm just trying to inspire the people that I work around, that like, we're not here for regular and we're not here for everyday ordinary.
We're
here for special. We're here for go above and beyond. And, they come to work ready to do extra and go crazy. Facts. To just make something amazing. Because when you see the stuff that we're making, it's like, wow, that's why I put in this work.
Facts. No mid shelf over here, bro.
Nah,
no mids.
We're not gonna be outworked
by
anyone at any time. We're gonna do whatever it is that needs to get done so that we can produce that fire.
For sure. That's a dope little pitch you just gave right there. So where would people find you? I know you named off a couple of dispensaries, but give a nice little list of where people find Habana, bro. Because I know
I mean,
where your products
we're all
go.
over the place right now. A couple mountain spots, but all day, every day at Eclipse, all day at Verts, Diego Pellicer, Wolfpack's got us, and Crystal Leaves, like I said.
Obviously.
Crystal Leaves, if you're not going to Crystal Leaves, taking the trip to see all of what we got, because the variety there of the selection makes it worth going.
Yeah, and the reason for that too, I don't want it to seem like he's playing up Crystal Leaves more than the other spots, but Crystal Leaves, if you guys didn't catch, is their part of them. So obviously, their home store is gonna get the first, first flavors,
drop,
all the flavors,
all the drops a day or two early, and because we're right there.
Facts. And so they're gonna have all the different Habana products, all the different flavors. They're gonna have all the different Cuban Crew flour and all the different flavors and stuff. But definitely try out all the other spots too, because they definitely get access to the same quality product.
Always,
you know what I'm saying?
Day.
And a lot of the time, it's even a lot of the same genetics. Unless there was something that just didn't produce the way that they wanted to, or they did a lot with it, or it all went to the Crystal Leaves, whatever. But everybody gets the same quality shit. So whatever you get, whenever you get Habana anywhere, you're going to get some gas, like, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
So, yeah, man. So what would be one thing of advice that you would give to somebody who is looking to do what you do?
Oh, just study, read. Like learn about the plants, learn about the genetics, find out what works for what you're trying to do, because once you get the opportunity to get your hands on the product to do it, it's horrible when it doesn't come out.
Facts. That's
and
real
all
life.
the time that it takes to grow something, or even just the money buying something to then process it, that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're gonna fail,
especially
it happens,
and that's real. Especially, I preach big on the whole, spend your money, like that on shit that you actually want. Like, don't go for the whole quantity over quality thing. Like, do the other way, quality over quantity, because you'll always, especially if you're trying to process it, the better the weed, the better the outcome in the processing.
Do your research
all the time.
The better the equipment, the easier your life is.
Facts.
So. Hell yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna struggle.
Everyone fails a few times.
Everyone fails, but there are people out there who don't want you to fail as much as they did. So,
just learn, look it up, do your research. That's all he's saying. That's dope, man. I really appreciate you coming out and doing this, bro. Like I said, you had a very interesting story that you prepared me for it, but you didn't prepare me for it. Like when I asked you if you were Googleable. It did definitely.
That was my. People be like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Google me, man."
Hey, man, I was just trying to prepare myself for an interview, but I stumbled across a whole lot more than I actually felt like I bargained for, and that was pretty dope. So yeah, I really appreciate you, doing this, and I feel like now that people got to know who Adam is, we get to now bring you back on and do some dope shit that revolves around what you currently do. Because that was one thing that I noticed in some of the articles was. people wanted to know what you were doing.
Everybody wanted to know.
Like everyone, yeah, we don't know. You know, after he left college or left the football scene, he kind of just, you know, no one really knows what he's doing. So, you know, this would be kind of a cool way to reintroduce you back to the world, man, and show them what you've been up to and all the dope products that you know, are responsible for now, because it really is dope, you know, the stuff that you're making. And again, I'm not a huge concentrate person myself, but I can look at a product and be like, oh, that's good or that's bad, especially with the concentrates.
It's art. It's beautiful.
Hey, and it doesn't lie. That's like I said, it's like with weed, you could kind of, you know, you could decorate trees, bro. You dig what I'm saying? You could decorate trees. That's where moon rocks came from and developed from, because motherfuckers had some trash that they needed to turn into some gold. So you could decorate tree. But concentrate, you can't decorate this shit, bro. Like, you could do your best to doctor it up and make it look okay and presentable, but at the end of the day, you're going to get what you pay for. That's just facts. So, yeah, shout out to you, man. Shout out to Habana Extracts and the support that you guys show, you know, not only me, but, you know, the shows and stuff like that. Crystal Leaves, Cuban Crew, High Grade. Obviously, you, Eric, who's been very quiet over there today.
Yes, sir.
Gang, gang.
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's been watching and listening.
I put him to sleep, man.
Nah, you straight. But yeah, the content creation studio, man. Thank you for, you know, helping me bring all this shit to life.
Word.
You know, the editing and shit. You saving my life, brother.
Yes, sir. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah, so, you know, y'all go watch some other content and be on the lookout for some new shit from us over here at HHTv, and from some stuff that we'll be doing with Adam over here too, because we just made that happen. This is in real life now, so now you can't back out of this shit, dog. So yeah,
I will go in on a glob though for you.
Oh, look, he about to do something special for you. I don't have any.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotta see this. I gotta see this.
I'll take a fatty. I've never put these 2 heaters in here, but it should be good.
Oh, you're not gonna use the terp slurp for the big dab?
I mean, I could, but
doesn't it make it easier?
This is gonna be be easier, because this is gonna be way hotter than that one.
Right.
Because
see, y'all talking shit that I don't even know, bro. Look, that's how you know I'm a blunt smoker.
I'm not gonna lie, like the slurpers like max out at a gram or so. But
yeah,
this
for
the
sure.
fact that you're even saying that to me, and it's so casual. Max is out at a gram.
I've never taken a gram, and I never will, bro. Like, I get my little G pen right here. Let me load it up. Get my little 4 or 5 pulls out of it or something. I'm good.
Dog, like, I just don't understand, y'all. Look, I've never thrown up taking a dab, but I've gotten really high from taking a dab.
We'll want some water.
I'm sure you will. Bro, I take dabs, cough my ass off, and then just want to sit down. I don't even want to talk. Like, that's why y'all don't ever see me participate in no dabs. I'll be one quiet motherfucker, like, coughing my ass off.
I just want to make sure this is hot.
No, take your time. I'm in no rush for you to hurt yourself, sir.
Oh, this has been nothing.
Oh yeah, I forgot who I'm talking about. This is the man who talking about he took 17-gram dab and like it was, you know, nothing.
Like it was nothing.
Fucking choo-choo train and shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking choo-choo train and shit. Y'all are in for a treat. Some shit y'all will never see MileHigh do.
You mentioned the 17-gram dab. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you heard that, listeners. That was right. 17 grams.
Acting like it wasn't shit.
Yeah.
He said it so casually to us, too.
Like it's an everyday thing around this bitch.
Yeah.
What is that one?
Look at it.
This is 6. I'm trying to get it all into like one little.
Okay, y'all about to see a 6-gram dab.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Throw it all in.
Bruh.
But it's just got to be broken up enough.
Dude.
So we have a bunch of different.
Yeah,
right
it's
here?
a bunch of different strains.
Okay.
You could list them if you want to. They're all right here.
Hold on, he about to hand me all the packages. 2 of these there too.
Yeah, they're already empty.
Look.
I took them out.
Look, okay. So he's got peanut butter jealous shatter right here.
Okay.
Concord Crush shatter.
Yes.
Some more peanut butter jealous shatter.
Peanut butter.
Purple KO shatter.
Ooh.
Some more Concord Crush.
Ooh.
It was what? That was 5? It was 5.
5 different ones?
5 different ones.
6 grams.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. 2 of which, no, 3 of, yeah, 2 of
same.
which of the grams were doubled.
Mm-hmm.
So technically 3 different
Heat
strains.
it up a little bit more though, so that we can make sure that
2 grams of
So is this something you do often?
No,
I was gonna say. Okay.
I told him I haven't smoked a huge dab in a long time. I take big dabs, but like I never really smoked this. I always smoke rosin, so like ain't no.
Yeah, about to say all your videos you do are always
ain't no way
rosin.
I'm gonna take a gram dab of rosin or 2, 3, 4 grams. It's
Bro,
not.
you're
it's
a
not
baller
worth,
if you're doing that shit, dog.
It's not worth it.
No.
you know,
I mean, a baller bucket is like $200
Yeah.
for like 3 grams, and that's like buying in bulk, and you don't really get options usually. It's like one
I
straight.
literally be staring at the baller buckets for like hours, just
the look of it,
Just looking at it.
Yeah.
They're crazy. I can show you some of the pictures.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
I got
check
some
them out.
crazy pictures, bro.
Word. So he's got everything.
Oh, I'm so
together.
excited
Yeah,
about my
me too.
fucking lenses when I get
Yes,
home,
sir.
bro. I'm gonna go play with them motherfuckers, bro.
all right.
Oh man, look at this
Oh,
shit. Oh
shit.
Lord. Oh Lord.
That's
Oh,
hot
Lord.
too. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, look at him get it.
Are you kidding me right now?
Oh
What?
my God. Oh my
This is
God.
the first on HHTv TV right here.
Bruh.
Oh, look at it bubbling.
Look at it go.
Looks like cooking oil. Jesus.
I'm high as fucking
Bro.
sitting here. I
Bro.
mean, I was already high, but I
And
can
he's
feel
really
myself
pulling on
getting
this
higher.
bitch. Look at this.
It smells good as fuck.
Looks dope on camera too.
Damn. Bruh.
Yes, sir. I like this. This is dope.
Hey man, you done blessed the channel with
You really
the first
did.
big dab. Bro, I can
Who's
feel
gonna
it.
do the next
It's
one?
tickling my throat right now, dog. Like that's how cloudy and smoky this shit
Oh,
is.
this guy's
This
he's a dabber
fire.
dabber, yo. Like he ain't stopping.
God, I ain't even hitting it. I'm coughing. How have you not coughed once, dog? And
Bro.
I've done coughed and I ain't even hit that shit. Look, a little. Look, that's some bullshit. That's like a little bullshit, like 0.3, maybe a half gram that didn't get smoked. You know what I'm saying? That's some bullshit, dog. I've done.
That's dope.
Well,
And just a little
for you,
cough
bro.
at the end.
God,
like,
yeah.
like I'm about to start coughing.
Look. That shit done made everybody in the room cough except for the motherfucker who hit it. Who did a.
hey,
That wasn't even a cough. That was like a little exhale to find a little bit of smoke in the pit of your stomach and shit. Look, there it go. So I'm gonna make y'all feel less like some little bitches.
For real. Hey,
Y'all some little pussies.
he said no one's gonna outwork him. As far as
Hey.
the dabs, you got it, bro.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna sit there and
You got it.
you shut me the fuck up. Shit, I didn't have to shut up. I ain't never sat there and said that I could do that shit. So
Hell no.
there is no challenge. You want to smoke blunts? I can smoke blunts with you all day. That shit.
How you
win.
feeling right now, real quick?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, you gotta.
High as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, what
Mike,
shit?
you got
dog.
a couch?
Oh man, well shit. I appreciate you, Adam. You're the dog for that shit, man. I don't have no comeback on that right there, sir, at all. Like,
You
at
got
all.
it.
You win. So cut. Yeah, cut. You have a good rest of the day, man. Y'all have a good rest of the day out there too. And always remember to live life high, man. Honest, intelligent, genuine, and humble. And catch y'all on the next one.
God
Peace.
bless.